morning, friends. Welcome to another day of almost daily meditation. Sorry to miss a couple of days. We were just caught up in a couple of things. We had a sewer backup, so lots of fun, right? For those of you who've done it. Fortunately, it was small. Our plumber, Steve Connolly, member of St. Thomas, put an alarm in a couple of years ago, and we had the same issue. And so, fortunately, this time we didn't have the disaster we did before. So, way to go, Steve. Couple of things to be thinking about. There's so much going on in the world right now, and you might not know this, but there's a really wonderful prayer that I'm sure you've heard because it's been made famous by 12-step programs. And it is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This was originally attributed to Reinhold Niebuhr. It was written in kind of right after, or in the middle of the Depression, kind of after all the crashes, early 30s. And it began to kind of filter out to the world, first, interestingly enough, through the YWCA, and then eventually later got really famous as it got part of the Alcoholics Anonymous program, and then made it into all kinds of other 12 steps, and certainly a prayer all of us can pray. One of the things I've always appreciated about this prayer is it sort of draws attention to the immediacy ahead of us about thinking about what can we actually change in our life. What are the things that we can do differently? What are the things that we can impact? And sometimes we're faced with such tremendous odds or difficulties that it's hard for us to see how we really make a difference in the world. I don't know if you ever feel that way. I know that I do sometimes, even as a person with some influence in the world. It's easy to sometimes think that we really can't make a difference, but actually you can. And that part of the contemplativeness of this prayer is to be able to find our center and to know exactly what it is we're able to do. Sometimes it's changes within us, our attitude, our perceptions, how we're spending our time, how we're choosing to use the gifts that God has given us. And then sometimes it's also recognizing, we might not be able to change another person, but we can certainly change our presence, or we can, even when we begin to approach some of the bigger things in life, and it is sometimes with incremental small changes that we make around us that we can make a difference in the greater world. The other thing that's good about this prayer is, like I said, it centers us and lets us kind of ask that question, and even to say, what is it that I can do, God? What is it that, God, that you can empower me in this moment, in this day, in this second, that I can accept and change the things that I can. And that's a big thing. The other thing is being able to let go of some things that we can't always change, and that can be difficult. But it's also that part of that centering, right? When you can let go maybe of somebody else's behavior, when you can let go of a situation you can't control. So maybe this prayer is something you've prayed before. Maybe you've used it. Maybe it's something you've never heard of. But this is just something to think about in terms of, it's a good addition, I think, to the Lord's Prayer, or an alternative if you're looking to change things up. Sometimes, I'm not saying there's an alternative to the Lord's Prayer. That's not what I mean. But sometimes when you're doing daily practices, or if you're having a daily sense of your prayer life, using different prayers can sometimes kind of help bring new insights or new presence or even new focus in our life. So, what are the things that you need to accept that you cannot change? What are the things that God is calling you to change? And how do you find that wisdom? Hope you have a great day. God bless, and keep praying. Amen.
My song is love unknown, the Savior's love for me, love to the loveless shown that they might lovely be. For who am I that in my place my his parting breath. For with the cry that all is done, vain darkness fell before the sun. My song is love enthroned, where angel voices raise to magnify the Son and sing the Father's praise. So shall I stand in glorious throng,